Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm gonna start this video with a story time video. It's gonna be my first story time video, and I was contemplating on doing this video because it is real life shit. Certain people are gonna know it's them if they watch me or if they still follow me around. This is a story of when I was dating this guy, and it was two side chicks. Or I made three, I don't know, but it was three of us, and this guy was like real basic. Okay, so this was in 2000. I believe it was 1999 that I met him. I was 17 years old, and I was walking from my friend's house, and I was on this thing like I wanted to have a mature relationship with someone. I was sick of the high school guys. I just wanted to have that relationship that was on the same level as me, you know what I'm saying? And I left my best friend's house that day, and I remember walking down the street and this car pulled up. And if you live in Queens, New York, or New York period, you know how the guys stop you down there. They're very disrespectful. Not all, but some. Most of them are very disrespectful. They'll be like, yo, come over here, shorty, the girl with a big butt, or whatever, how they might try to get your attention. This guy pulled up and he was like, hi, can I have a moment of your time? And I was like, ah! That alone got me. I was like, oh my god, of course you can have a moment of my time. So we end up exchanging numbers. He gave me his number, I gave him mine, and then he asked me if I needed a ride, and I said no, I don't need a ride because I don't know him, you know what I mean? You don't get in cars with people you don't know. So he ended up calling me. My mom was not into this guy when he first called me, and I was like, yes, oh my god, I got a grown-ass man. He was 25 at the time, so I was like, yeah, I was so attracted to the age. I love older guys, and so even now I like older men, but I don't like them to the point that they're old. It was just great, and 6 months passed and my relationship was blooming. I was the most happiest relationship ever. Then my mom ended up getting sick and we had to move because the hospitals in New York, especially Queens, New York, or Brooklyn, or wherever you live, the hospitals are just not good there. So she ended up moving to Connecticut because her sister lived there, and her sister introduced her to Connecticut. So she ended up moving there. The hospitals were extremely better, and it ended up saving her life. Before we moved to Connecticut, I thought that he was going to dump me, and a long-distance relationship, an hour and a half, it was too long for him, and he said no, he still want to be with me, he still want us to try, and because he just don't want to let something good go like this. And I was just like, oh god, this guy, and I was just so in love with him. Guy, I'm just like, oh, I'm like swimming in love here. And then I moved to Connecticut, and the relationship was steady. I didn't get to see him as much as I would if I was in New York. Like, I would see him like 3 times a week at least, or 4 times a week that my mother would allow me to see him when I was in New York. But when I moved to Connecticut, I saw him like once every 2 weeks or twice every 2 weeks. It depends. One day my cousin called me and she wanted me to visit her in Brooklyn, New York. They live on Eastern Parkway between Utica. That's where the parade is. They live right in front of the parade in that building. She told me to take the train, and she told me what train to take, and I went on Friday, and I was gonna leave on Sunday night because I have school on Monday. I told my boyfriend I was coming up there, and he was like, oh my god, that's so great, I'll get to see you. And I was like, yeah. And he was like, if I don't see you on Friday, I definitely pick you up on Saturday, and I was like, okay, this is great. So I ended up spending time with my cousins on Friday, and they were telling me about their relationship and stuff like that, and what was going on and all the drama that was going on. And I was just sitting there like, oh my god, they're going through so much and I'm not. And I'm so grateful that I have this man that respects me and loves me, and don't treat me like that, and don't put me in situations, bad situations. And I was just so happy. And then I just felt like calling my man and telling him how much I love him and I appreciate him. And I told him what was going on with my cousins, and I was like, you are just so wonderful, and I just thank you for who you are. And he was like, he was just so loved and so appreciated. He was like, I love you, and I was like, I love you too. And then he was like, I'm gonna see you tomorrow, which is Saturday, after I finish spending time with my son. And I was like, okay, no problem. So it's 10:30 now at night, and I'm just like, oh my god, what's going on with this guy? So I called him and he didn't pick up. this time it was his son. So when his son picked up, I was like, oh, so he is with his son, you know what I'm saying? He's telling the truth. He's with his son. I was like, hi, is your father there? He was like, yes. I was like, he was like, I was like, well, can I speak to him? And he was like, who is this? And I was like, this is Jamela. And he said, okay, Jamela. And I was like, yes. And as soon as he said my name, the girl Vanessa grabbed the phone. This is the baby mother. She grabbed the phone, because I know she grabbed the phone from him, because the phone was like, you hear it, like the, you know, the noise of when somebody grabbed the phone out of your hand. She was like, who are you and why are you calling Peter? I was like, why are you asking me why am I calling my man? Peter is my man. We've been together for a while, and I'm calling my man. She was like, no, Jamela, this is not your man. This is my man. We've been together for 5 years. We have 2 kids together. I was like, what? Imagine a 17-year-old just found out that her man, this guy, Peter, that I was dating, and I was 17, never had a boy experience before. He was my everything. And then a woman telling me that they are together. They have 2 kids together. How I felt. I was like, what? I was like, you know what? I don't want to talk to you anymore. I want to talk to Peter. I want to talk to him, because this is between me and him, okay? Because he told me you were the crazy baby mother, and now you're telling me you're together. And then suddenly I heard like struggles on the phone, and she's screaming, oh, you're messing up what we have for this girl, and this and that. You're messing up what we have for this girl, this bitch. That's what she called me. And I was like, this bitch don't even know me. How you gonna call me a bitch? Whatever. And he didn't say a word. I didn't hear Peter in the background. All I heard was tussling, and then I heard quiet, and the phone was really quiet. And then the little boy came on the phone and said, Daddy and Mommy is fighting. Daddy and Mommy is fighting. And I was like, oh my God, this is not good. And then suddenly the phone was snatched out of the boy's hand, and then I heard silence. And I know it was Peter, because you're listening to me speak to you. I'm calling you all kind of names. I'm saying, you know, this is what you did. This is what you're doing to me. You know me. You know everything about me, and you still go do this to me. He didn't say anything. All I heard was click, right? So after that, things calmed down. I went back to Connecticut, and then he decided to call me. He called me, and he told me he's sorry. She's crazy. She thought they were still together and all this time and whatever. I was just like so in love with him. I was so in love with him. Young ass bitch, 17. So I decided to give him another chance. Don't know why. I gave him another chance. Gave this Moran another chance to hurt me. But anyways, that was the first side chick issue, or whatever that was. I have no idea. Okay, they're not together, but he's still sleeping with her, obviously, because if he wasn't sleeping with her, she wouldn't act like that. But anyways, time went by, relationship is great. We decided to get married. I was a Christian, and it bothered me that we were together and we just were not married. So we decided we were going to get engaged and get married. So when my mom found out about that, she was pissed, because she didn't like him from the very beginning, and then she found out what he did to me, so she hated him even more. I remember just listening to music and relaxing in Connecticut, because there's nothing to do in Connecticut than being in your room watching TV or listening to music or doing your homework. So I was listening to music, and then the phone rang, and I picked it up, and I didn't recognize the number, first of all, and I didn't recognize the voice, but she asked for my name, and I was like, yes, this is her. And she was like, yeah, hi Jamela, I realized that your number was in my man's phone, and that you guys been talking a lot on the phone. And I was like, what? Who is this? And who's your man? And because I know I'm not talking to anybody but one person. So who's your man? She goes, my man is Peter. And I was like, who are you? And she was like, I'm Julie. I was like, really? Bitch, this is another chick, side chick. Like, you are not gonna play me, keep playing me, and it's my fault, because I'm the one that let him play me the first time, and now he's playing me the second time. You're just picking up all these nasty girls, and I don't have a clue. She goes, who are you? I was like, I'm Peter's fiance, Jamela. That's what I am to him. She goes, well, you're his fiance. I'm his fiance. You know, we've been engaged. And I was like, what? Are you kidding me? Are you freaking kidding me? You are engaged to Peter. And she goes, yes, I'm engaged to Peter. You know, she was like, I want us to work out and I love him very much. And I was like, listen, chick, just stop telling me what you feel about somebody that I'm with. We're together, okay? I was like, how long you been together? She's like, a year. And she asked me how long I've been with him. I said 2 years. We've been together. And I was just sitting there like thinking, one girl, two girl, when we're married, it's going to be more girls. I was like, you know what? This is the life that he's introducing me to. This is the life that he's going to put into my life. And I was like, I don't want this. I want a man of my own. And I don't know, something just came over me. And I was like, you know what, sweetie? I don't think you need to talk to me anymore. You need to go and call Peter. And you need to go and be with Peter and deal with this. Because I'm so done. And I just hung up. And I guess she called him. And then he called me and he was like, oh, he's sorry, he didn't mean it, right away. It was better than the first time he did it, because the first time he waited till things calmed down, but the second time he was like, oh my god, I'm sorry, I didn't mean that to happen, I'm so sorry, I love you, I don't know what she said, whatever she said, she's lying. And I was like, oh really, what did she say? And he was like, oh, she was telling me that she told you that they were together. And I was like, oh, and she also told me that you guys were engaged, you guys are getting married, congratulations. And he was like, oh no, she's a liar, I can't believe she even said that. I was like, you know what, obviously you're having sex with this girl and you don't have to even tell me, you know, and I'm just so done with you. I just feel like we need to just be apart from each other. I don't know what came over me, but I was just so strong and motivated, and I ended up breaking up with him that day. I was like, you know what, it's just so much. Of course he kept calling me. Of course he kept trying to be with me. Of course he kept trying to say that he changed. And eventually I moved on, and when he saw that I moved on and I was with someone else, he finally, the calls just started like dropping and dropping. He will still call to check up on me, but every time he called, I would just remind him of all the pain and suffering that he put me through with all these females. And then with these two girls, with freaking Vanessa and freaking Julie. One day in 2005, I was in New York and I was in Queens. I was living back home, and I moved there because I had a job opportunity. I moved there and I got my own little place, and I saw him and I couldn't believe it. Like, I seen him, and you know, we was looking across from each other, and he was telling me, you know, talking to me, and he was just like, we should go back together and we should try to be with each other. He's not with anyone, and he learned a lot from what happened before, and that one person he always thought about was me, and feeding me all these shit in my head. And I just looked at him and I was like, but is something missing? I would have loved if you had said that years ago, but now I feel like I'm not in love with you anymore. And he was like, stop lying, New York guys, stop lying, you know you love me, I'm your first ever, I'm your first everything, you know you loved me. And I was like, I was in love with you, but for everything that you put me through, I am not in love with you anymore. After that, he just looked so sad in the face, and I never saw him again after that. You know, after I told him to his face, in his eyes, that I don't love him anymore, he just disappeared out of my life. And from that moment on, I am just so awake with relationships. When a guy is missing out of action, don't let the love cover it up. Wake up. When he doesn't answer your calls right away or your texts, wake the hell up. When he doesn't want your phone, you don't want him to touch you can't touch his phone, wake up. Like, there were signs in my relationship, even though I thought it was perfect, it wasn't perfect, you know. And the fact that he was older than me, and he just wanted that. He wanted me, a young girl. He wanted a young girl to do what he wanted to do, you know what I mean? So with all that, that's my 2 side chicks, or I was a side chick, so that makes 3 of us side chicks story. okay? Because I thought I was the main chick, but it turned out one girl was engaged to him and the other one was with him for 5 years. So you say who's a side chick? Maybe I was a side chick on the first round, but the other girl was a side chick on the second round, but she was engaged too. So I don't know. That's crazy. If you guys like this story time video, please let me know down below if you want to see more story times like this. If you like this video, just please give it a thumbs up and comment. Let me know what you want to see next. So that's it, guys. Mwah.